Three bone-chilling gas station stories today, unseen forces at play. Welcome to another spine-chilling episode where we dive into the unknown. Tonight we explore the desolate highways and eerie back roads, stopping at places often shrouded in darkness and mystery gas stations. These beacons of light in the vast expanse of minutes for unsettling events. For tonight we bring you three bone-chilling true gas station stories of unseen forces moving the gas pumps. Turn off the lights, sit back and prepare to be terrified. The Phantom Pump. Our first story takes us to a small sleepy town where a lone gas station stands as the last bastion of civilization before a seemingly endless stretch of desolate highway. It was here that a young gas station attendant named Mark found himself face to face with the unexplainable. The night was like any other, quiet, still, and deathly slow. Mark was fighting off boredom, scrolling through his phone, when a sudden noise caught his attention. It was the distinct click of a gas pump shutting off. He looked up, expecting to see a car pulling away, but there was nothing. The pump in question, pump number 4, stood alone, its digital display dark, as if it had just fueled a phantom vehicle. A shiver snaked down Mark's spine. He shook his head, dismissing it as a technical glitch, but deep down a seed of unease had been planted. The following night, Mark found himself drawn back to the unsettling silence of the gas station. And then it happened again. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw it, the unmistakable flicker of movement on pump number 4. This time, he watched, transfixed, as the numbers on the display whirred to life, counting upward as if an invisible car was being refueled before his very eyes. He cautiously approached the pump, his heart pounding in his chest. The air grew cold, sending a fresh wave of goosebumps along his arms. He reached out to touch the pump, but just as his fingers grazed the cold metal, the pump shuddered violently, and the numbers on the display spun wildly. Terror gripped him, and he stumbled backward, tripping over his own feet. As he lay there, helpless on the cold concrete, he watched in sheer terror as the nozzle lowered itself, seemingly of its own volition, and sprayed gasoline into the air. Mark quit his job the next day, refusing to step foot in that gas station ever again. The Phantom Pump, however, remained, but the question remains who or what is fueling up in the dead of night. The Haunted Highway Stop. Our next story takes us on a desolate stretch of highway known only as Route 666, where a lone gas station stands as a beacon of both hope and horror. It was here that a weary traveler named Sarah found herself stranded late one night, her car sputtering its last breaths as it coasted to a stop beneath the flickering fluorescent lights of the station. She'd been driving for hours, the monotony of the road lulling her into a false sense of security. As she stepped out of her car, a cold wind whipped around her, carrying with it the unsettling feeling that she was not alone. The gas station was eerily deserted, the silence broken only by the howling wind and the distant barking of what sounded like 100 dogs. Sarah shivered, pulling her jacket tighter around her as she made her way to the pumps. As she reached for the nozzle, she heard it, a soft whisper barely audible above the wind. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. She swore she could hear her name being called, but when she turned around there was no one there, just the endless darkness beyond the gas station's lights. Shaking off the feeling of dread that had settled over her, she started to fill her tank, but as she did so she noticed something strange. The pump next to hers, pump number 13, was moving. The numbers on the display were spinning wildly, as if someone or something was filling up a car that wasn't there. She watched in disbelief as the nozzle clicked off, seemingly of its own accord, and a cold, ethereal laughter echoed around her. Terrified, Sarah dropped the nozzle and ran to her car, her hands shaking so badly that she could barely get the key in the ignition. She fumbled with her keys, her heart racing as she heard the laughter again, closer this time, as if it was right behind her. Finally, she got the car started and sped away. the ghostly laughter echoing in her ears long after she had left the haunted gas station behind. Locals say the gas station is haunted by the spirits of travelers who met an untimely end on that lonely stretch of highway. So, if you ever find yourself driving on Route 666 late at night and your car starts to sputter, keep driving. Don't stop for anyone or anything. Our final tale brings us to a bustling town where a newly renovated gas station stood as a testament to one man's entrepreneurial spirit. John, the proud owner, had poured his heart and soul into restoring the dilapidated station to its former glory. He had high hopes for his business, but he had no idea that his dreams would soon turn into nightmares. It all started subtly. Strange occurrences began to plague the gas station, subtle yet unsettling events that sent chills down the spines of both employees and customers. Items would go missing, only to reappear in the most unlikely of places. Lights flickered erratically, casting eerie shadows that danced in the corners of the store. John initially dismissed these incidents as mere hiccups in the day-to-day operations of a busy gas station. But as the incidents escalated, so did his unease. One evening, as John was closing up, he witnessed something that sent a shiver down his spine. As he made his rounds, ensuring all was secure for the night, he noticed something peculiar. One of the gas pumps, pump number 6, was active. The numbers on the display were steadily climbing, yet there was no vehicle parked at the pump. A cold dread washed over him. He cautiously approached the pump, his heart pounding in his chest, his mind racing with possibilities. As he drew closer, he could have sworn he heard a low growl emanating from the pump, a sound that seemed to vibrate deep within his bones. He reached out to touch the pump, but as his fingers brushed against the cold metal, the growling intensified, and the pump shuddered violently. John jumped back, his heart pounding in his ears. He watched in terror as the nozzle lowered itself, seemingly possessed by an unseen force, and began spraying gasoline into the air. Panicked, John stumbled back, his mind reeling from the impossibility of what he was witnessing. He knew he had to get help, to call someone, anyone, but his legs felt like lead, rooted to the spot as if an unseen force was holding him captive. As the fumes grew stronger, John noticed something even more terrifying. The numbers on the pump's display were spinning backward, counting down from an unknown number, and with each passing second the growling grew louder, more menacing. Suddenly, a wave of dizziness washed over John, and his vision blurred. He collapsed to his knees, gasping for air as the world around him faded to black. When he came to, he was lying in a hospital bed, a doctor by his side. The doctor explained that he had been found by a customer who had stopped for gas. John tried to explain what he had seen, but the doctor just smiled patiently and told him that he had been delirious from the fumes. John knew what he had seen, but he also knew that no one would believe him. He left the hospital shaken and determined to uncover the truth behind the poltergeist pump. His search led him to a chilling discovery. The gas station was built on the site of an old cemetery, a burial ground that had been paved over and forgotten decades ago. It was said that the cemetery was haunted by restless spirits, unable to find peace after their final resting place had been desecrated. John realized with a sinking feeling that he had unwittingly disturbed the spirits of the cemetery, and now they were seeking their revenge. He sought the help of a local priest, a man known for his compassion and his understanding of the spiritual realm. Together, they performed a series of rituals and blessings, hoping to calm the restless spirits and bring peace to the haunted gas station. Their efforts seemed to work. The strange occurrences ceased, the poltergeist pump fell silent, and the gas station was finally at peace. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown, where the mundane transforms into the terrifying and the familiar becomes a breeding ground for fear. We've explored the dark side of these roadside havens, revealing the unseen forces that lurk within. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-chilling content. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes open for the unseen. Remember, the next time you pull up to a gas station, be wary of the shadows, listen closely to the whispers, and for your own sake, avoid pump number 13.